The truth is that yes, you can walk the walk and you can talk the talk, but the real manifesting flex, the real way to attract what you really want is to befriend and heal the core beliefs that are burdened, that are fearful, the stories from our past that we've been carrying for decades.
Welcome to the Things You Can't Unhear podcast. I'm your host, Maritza Barone. Get ready to hear moments that will help you to see the world differently and inspire you to become the happiest, healthiest, and kindest version of you. Gabby Bernstein is a best-selling author, motivational speaker, and spiritual teacher known for her work in self-help, personal growth, and manifestation. She blends principles from spirituality, meditation, manifestation, and psychology to help people overcome fear, anxiety, and self-doubt. She's also known as the author of New York Times best-selling books, The Universe Has Your Back, and Super Attractor. She shares with us techniques on how to manifest the life of our dreams. Gabby is one of the leaders at the forefront of personal change, growth, and manifestation. And her work is always shared through her personal experiences and struggles with addiction and anxiety to inspire and transform others. And she does it in such a magical way. Today we have a conversation about miracles and how we can be our own miracle worker. Gabby and I connect about what it means to be a spiritual leader that people look up to, and we talk about her own personal manifestations and how they have come to be. And she gives us guidance in the stages of our lives that need support, including her recent experience navigating menopause or perimenopause. We also discuss her brand new book, Self-Help, which is subtitled, This Is Your Chance to Change Your Life, where she draws from IFS therapy, internal family systems, and simplifies it in a way that is accessible to all of us. I can't wait for you to enjoy this conversation with Gabby Bernstein. Now I have just one little favor for you, and it's so important because every single little review on this show helps to grow it in such a significant way and means so much. So if you've been enjoying the show, please leave a review, leave a beautiful comment on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. There's a comment section in Spotify. So we'd love to hear what you think of the show and particularly about this episode. Welcome, Gabby Bernstein, to the Things You Can't Unhear podcast.
So happy to be with you. How are you doing
Thank you.
today?
Thank you for being here. Now, so most of your work has been with me for a very long time, and you've helped me through many parts of my life. There's one part of your work that I love and I've consumed over and over again. It's your positive affirmation meditation. And it's free online. I'm going to share it in the show links. But it is just such a beautiful 5 minutes that you gift to people through these words that helped me so much through lockdowns over COVID and through
Yep.
difficult times. You know the one?
I recorded that. I actually recorded that the week we went into lockdown. Maybe like the day we went into lockdown. And it was really what I needed then. So I'm happy I could give it to you.
Yeah, you followed me around the rooms. I'm just carrying my phone around and it was beautiful, but it made me laugh because in it you say, I am a miracle worker. You are a miracle worker. And I
Yeah.
laugh because when my 13-year-old, nearly 13-year-old, she's calling me from the other room and I'm not there in like split second. And I get there and I'm like, I'm not a miracle worker. And then I'm like, hang on, I am. I am.
Yeah.
Gabby says I am a miracle worker. No, it does. It gives me a giggle. So thank you for all of the work that you've done. And it's beautiful work. But what do you think makes a miracle worker? Because I love that term. And I want this conversation to really encapsulate the fact that we are miracle workers ourselves. We can create change in our lives. We can create our own form of miracles. So I want to know what that means to you.
What that means to me is that we make a conscious choice every day to change our mind, and that we make a conscious choice daily to shift our thoughts from negativity and fear and lack and judgment to hope, positivity, connection, kindness. And it doesn't mean that you're going to start your day off in that mindset or that you're going to feel aligned with that mentality from the onset. But it does mean that you use all the tools in your toolbox to get back to that alignment quickly. And that's the way I've chosen to live, is to stay in the conscious connection to that alignment.
There is that massive consciousness that we need to adopt, and there's synchronicities and there's signs and there's the way that we talk and the way that we move. So I want to talk about these things because these are the things that you really taught me. These were the powerful tools that I got from your work, especially in your book, The Universe Has Your Back. But the fact that if you want something, you need to lead and show the universe that you are capable of doing it and plant the seeds so that it can happen. So even walking in a particular way, talking in a language that shows what you're capable of. Talk me through that a
Yeah.
little bit.
We manifest what we believe and we attract who we are. So if the energy that we're putting out is negative, if the beliefs that we carry are low vibration, if the actions we take come from a needy or anxious or judgmental place, then we're going to create more of that reality. That will become our reality. And so the real work to begin to co-create with the universe and attract more of what you want has to come from the inner well-being, an inner sense of security, an inner sense of calmness, an inner sense of clarity and curiosity and compassion, rather than a place of judgment, attack, fear, feelings of inadequacy. So the truth is that yes, you can walk the walk and you can talk the talk, but the real manifesting flex, the real way to attract what you really want is to befriend and heal the core beliefs that are burdened, that are fearful, the stories from our past that we've been carrying for decades. And my work is to teach people that as it's not an insurmountable task to do this, that it's possible. And through small daily actions, you can heal on the inside.
It's a process, you're right. It's not an overnight mechanism where one moment you believe in yourself and then you don't believe in yourself and then the next minute you believe in yourself and your capabilities. And it's a matter of, yes, it's a process over time, inheriting those small different things
Right.
that make a huge difference. Absolutely
That's
huge difference. These beliefs that we have, how do you think we go about initially starting to shift them? I know you've got numerous books that you've written and lots of different pathways to do that. But for someone starting out in this world saying, I want this huge dream to become a reality for me, but I don't believe in myself. I don't think I'm worthy enough.
Well, in my latest book, it's my 10th book called Self-Help. This is your chance to change your life. And it's also the main manifesting technique that I've been using in my life to heal those core beliefs and start to come out the other side. That tool is also what I'll be teaching when I come to Australia for my tour, which I'm so excited to be with you guys. And I'll be really diving deeply into this in person. But to give you a sense of it now, it's a technique for checking in with the parts of yourself that are blocking you. So if you ask yourself, what do I want to manifest into my life? You probably know the answer. And then the next question is, what's the belief that's blocking you from manifesting that desire? And then the process that I'll take people through in the book, Self-Help, my new book, and when I'm live with you in Australia, that's is the process of connecting to that belief system and curiously connecting, offering compassion, calmness, and clarity instead of overriding it. So if you notice that belief system coming up and you sense yourself wanting to check out from it, like, I don't want to feel this, I'm going to avoid it right now. Instead, the process is to check in with it. So you'd focus your attention inward and you would just notice where it is inside. And then the second step is curiosity. You'd ask that belief system or that pattern, what do I know about you? How long have you been around? Are there any thoughts or feelings or sensations that you want me to know about? And then the third step is to connect to that belief in that part of you and say, what do you need? That's the compassion right there, the compassionate connection. And when you've gone through those three steps, then the fourth step is just to notice the shifts inside. See if you feel more calm. See if you feel more connected or have more clarity about that belief and its patterns. And if you feel a little bit more curiosity, a little bit more creativity. And those four steps, like I said, I break them down in depth inside Self-Help, and I will break them down in detail when I'm with everybody in Australia. But they're a positive, compassionate, curious, connected inquiry towards those beliefs that have been around forever. And if you offer those beliefs some connection through these 4 steps, they'll start to soften. You'll feel more grounded. You'll feel more connected to yourself. And that's a process that I would recommend you rinse and repeat again and again and again and again.
A practice. That's right. I've had your new book on my bedside table for the last maybe 4 or 5 weeks, and it's been great. I've picked it up several times and just randomly chosen pages, which I've really enjoyed doing too, because it's just, I've read it through and then gone back and just randomly chosen pages. And it really works like that too. It's brilliant. But it made me laugh every morning because I opened my eyes and the first thing I see is this big red font that says self help. And it's
That's right.
funny because yeah, right? Like there's no denying what you're doing here, right? You're self-helping. And sometimes when you go into that bookshop, you sort of hide behind that self-help section because you are like, I don't want anyone to know that I potentially am struggling or I'm working on myself or I'm trying to grow. Why did you choose that title?
Well, there's many reasons. One, when we start to do that interconnection, what emerges from us is what's known as self energy. And self energy is the calmness inside, the connection, the curiosity inside, the clarity inside, the courage inside. And so that's when self energy starts to help these belief systems and patterns. So itself actually can help. So that's the real reason why this is the title. But the reason that I made it so big and so in your face is it's a book for the willing. The subtitle is This is Your Chance to Change Your Life. So if you actually want to change your life, then this is your book. If you want to do the work on yourself, then self-help is the work. But if you don't, or you're not willing, or you're not curious about it, then this is not your book right now. You'll read it when you need it. So I really wanted to just weed out any of the naysayers, not that they are naysayers, but the unwilling, right? And open the door for the willing. That's what the purpose
I
is.
love that. I love that. It's like take it or leave it. This is the time. Bright
Take
red.
it or leave
Let's
it. This is the time.
So, how did you find this internal family systems that you've written about in this book and beautifully explained? How did that come into your personal life and how did it help you?
I've been practicing this therapy with my therapist for 8 years now. And I was practicing it for about 7 years before I even knew what it was. And then I was watching a YouTube video and I saw the founder of Internal Family Systems, Dick Schwartz, interviewed on YouTube. And he was talking about this therapy that he created. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, this is the thing that I've been doing this whole time in my therapy. Like this is the thing that I've been been experiencing. And so I was so excited about it. So I invited him to be the third interview on my podcast that I ever had, the third one ever. And he came on the show. And right away, I was like, I need to democratize this. I want to demystify it. And he encouraged me to take the training. And I went on to become an IFS practitioner. I did hundreds of hours of training. And it's the training for therapists. But I was blessed to be one of the last people who was not a licensed therapist to go through that training. And so now I'm a practitioner. And then I decided, okay, now I'm ready to write the book. And with his blessing, I took his big body of work and I made it self-help. It's a really big deal. It's taking a very life-changing therapy and making it accessible to people throughout the world.
I love how you have managed to do this throughout your career is to really simplify information for people that you have worked through, experienced, learned from, grown from, and then bring it to us in such relatable ways. You've done that with the Course in Miracles. Now you've done it with Internal Family Systems. You're always learning by the sounds of it. You're always
Yeah.
experiencing and a student of life. Where does that constant thirst come from to continue to learn?
The desire to feel good, babe.
Yeah.
I'm learning for myself first. Every day for me in my life has been a opportunity to unlearn fear and remember love and to turn inward and to come out the other side. I'm finally really enjoying the benefits of all of it. And I think I've been enjoying the benefits of it along the way and the relief along the way. But now I'm really feeling quite settled in the strength and the power of living with this type of reality.
I love that honesty is that, you have struggled. You're very public with your struggles as well and how this work has helped you. But I love that honesty that honestly you don't have all of your shit together all of the time and it's
No.
okay. it's absolutely okay. And
It's
you
really
can be
important.
this public figure, you can be this spiritual leader, but you can also lose your shit sometimes, and you make
Totally.
that okay. How do you respond when people think you are this guru that isn't allowed to have these meltdown moments?
Well, I don't really think that a lot of people expect me not to have meltdown. If you follow my work, you know that I'm going to share about my moments. If you're unfamiliar with me, maybe it is alarming because I did an interview today with a British publication and I was sharing about the book and giving personal examples about something that happened this morning where I was on the phone with my team and I was being like an asshole about something because I was in a part, right? I was like activated. And I was like, let me take you through how I would unwind this for myself right now. And I showed her through it. And I could see like her brain kind of be like, whoa, like what's wrong with this girl? Isn't she supposed to be have all the answers? And I could see sort of, I wasn't sure, maybe I just was reading it that way, but I explained to her, I was like, yeah, no, like the work that I teach is the work that I do for myself every single day. And if I wasn't doing it every day, I wouldn't be able to show up here with authenticity and confidence and say this works. So it was interesting. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I've listened to your podcast where you talk about having a meltdown at the nail salon.
Yes.
And you're like, yes, I still have meltdowns and it's okay. We chose the wrong color, something went bad, or your appointment fell through. And
And
yeah,
that part of me has had a lot of healing now, right? And I write about that in the book too, where in the book I talk about my new nail tech and how relaxed I am. And it seems like a very insignificant thing, but it's not because these meltdowns and these very insignificant moments are actually young parts of ourselves that are very activated. And those parts of ourselves deserve our attention because it seems like a stupid thing to melt down about, but what the feelings underneath it aren't stupid at all. They're very young, they're very valuable information for us to connect to and figure out. And so it's important to see that through that lens.
yeah, I love that. It's funny. I think you and I are exactly the same age because I think you post about your birthday around the same time as mine. Are you a 79
I am,
born?
baby.
Yeah, me too, girl. November or October?
November.
Yeah, I'm the end of October. So we're around about
You're a Scorpio too?
I am. Yeah, we're almost twins, I think. I'm
We're almost
31st of
twin
October.
sisters.
Yeah, we are. Now, I asked this question because I'm about to run a live event off the back of the podcast around perimenopause, hormones, menopause, and this conversation keeps coming up. And I want to be able
I'm just
to
you
I know
clapping.
I see you clapping
So
there,
proud
right?
of you. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Yes.
Yeah, and this conversation is important. I think so many of us around this age haven't been expecting changes that pop up, and we're like, "Hang on, what's going on?" So let's talk about it. But from a spiritual perspective, I really want to get it from a spiritual perspective because you hear women who go through it and they're out the other end. They're in their late 50s, and
They're
they
on their HRT and they feel good, which is my case, right?
okay, all right, awesome. But there's this wisdom, there's this knowingness that comes and this comfort within themselves that comes from that space. And I want to get your perspective on this period of our lives as we're growing and phasing through huge
Mhm.
changes hormonally and spiritually. I think we're learning ourselves more than ever.
So when you go through perimenopause and menopause, as I have been this past year, just going deep into it, you have no more shits to give. And the blessing there is that you have no more bandwidth to stay in the same bullshit patterns that you might have been in throughout your life. And you have no other choice but to take care of yourself really wholeheartedly because sadly, the suicide rate for women is mainly between 45 and 55, the highest rate of suicide amongst women. And that's where these hormonal upheavals will take you if you don't create the boundary and take care of yourself and seek the right support medically and therapeutically in whatever ways you need, particularly medically. And there is support available to us, whether it be hormonal support, whether it be supplement support, food support, all of it. I think throw everything at it. Throw everything at it if your doctor advises you to. And if they don't, look into more, right? So the only real times that you want to be conscious, or not, one of the main real times you would be conscious of hormone therapies if you've had breast cancer. And I'm not a doctor, so I would say always consult with your doctors. But sadly, most doctors do not know anything about menopause. So follow Mary Claire Haver, read my friend Naomi Watts's new book. Listen to the podcast about menopause. The New Menopause is the great book that Mary Claire Haver wrote. Follow You. Get the right information so that you can advocate for yourself. And that's the spiritual aspect of perimenopause and menopause, is that you have no more shits to give, you have no more bandwidth, that you have no other choice but to truly advocate for yourself and show up for yourself. And that's where the book Self-Help, my friend Dr. Mindy, who's a big advocate for menopause, she said self-help is a must read for any woman going through menopause, because you actually have to face the parts of yourself that are overriding yourself so that you can actually truly care for what you need in that moment.
Absolutely love that. And I did see Marianne Williamson live, and she said something very similar about not giving any shits as you get older. And she talked through the decades of, 50s, 60s, 70s. And she's like, you wait, guys. Wait.
It's so funny because I remember when Marianne was in her late 40s, or maybe she was probably in her 50s, where she wrote the book about aging. And I was at the time very close friends with her, and I was in my 30s. And I was like, what is this aging book? You know what I mean? Like, I
Don't
was
even
like, this
think about
is
aging.
relevant to me right now. Now, man, do I need to probably pick up that book now. You reminded me just now of it. It's time to pick it up again.
It's hilarious. In your 20s and 30s, you just think you're invincible and you're never getting old and you're not
Really
getting wrinkles.
too.
Things that I remember my doctor said to me at 35, we had a bit of a hormonal conversation. She said, you might be going through the first stages of menopause. And I literally gasped, put my
What are
head
you
down on
talking?
the desk.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, what are you
yeah.
talking about?
But you and I are in our mid 40s. I mean, I was 44 when I started having extreme symptoms. But what I now know is for the past decade, I've been having perimenopausal symptoms, night sweats, anxiety, all like, and it just had to get so extreme for me to pay attention to it.
Exactly. And same with me. Psoriasis, vertigo, unknown why these things were happening. No.
Anything that's happening to you, get your hormones tested.
Exactly, exactly. This conversation is super important. I love that you are on board with it. I love your interview with Naomi Watts as well. There's so many more people speaking about it, but it is, like I said, the spiritual side of it in terms of knowing ourselves at a different level and being this wise sage that has gone through these different waves of change in our lives is quite satisfying and gratifying to know that that's
It
on
really
the
is.
other end of it, right?
It
That's
really is. It really is. I'm really proud of you for putting this out there, Maritza.
So your shows around Australia are coming up. I did go to your last one, which is fabulous in Brisbane. Tell me about them, what you're doing differently this time, because I'm super excited to see you live again.
It's gonna be great. So I'm coming to Sydney. It's in all happening in May. And the details you can find them at deargabby.com/events. And I'll be in Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney. I will be doing a very, very, very powerful presentation on changing your life and how to really change your life. And the secret to manifesting, the manifesting flex. I will teach this 4-step practice. I'll teach a lot of what I'm teaching now is about becoming new. And for those folks that are in your world, it's going to be very relevant because we all have been through so much, and I think that there's patterns that we want to release. And this, I'm going to give you the Gabby kick in the butt and
I
give you the
love that.
power to make that change.
You do so many things. You write, you have shows, you have podcasts, you do television appearances. What would you say is the highlight of your work? What do you enjoy the
Oh,
most?
by far being on stage. There's nothing that compares. Nothing, especially now. God, it is so in my bones and my system. I just, it's such a gift to be able to get in front of a live audience. And this past week, I was in Mexico City, gave a huge talk, and then came to LA and gave a huge talk. And it's just, it's my art. It's being in my art. I meant to do that work, and I'm committed to doing more of it.
Has that always been the case for you? Have you always wanted to be on stage?
You know, I studied theater in college, and I think that there was a desire to be a performer, but then I realized performing wasn't actually what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be myself. And it's not even so much about what I wanted to do, it's what I was called to do. To teach and speak publicly is my art. It is my talent too, right? So it's an innate talent. Some of us are, and it's something that I have nurtured and grown and developed and perfected. Now it's not so much about talent as it is just about an energetic transmission. I have a strong faith that if I show up on a stage in an energy of hope and faith and optimism and clarity, that I can actually help people walk away with those experiences of hope and faith and optimism and clarity. I know that I can express that energy, be that energy, and people will recognize it in themselves. So that's a huge responsibility, and it's my mission, and I'm here to do more of it.
Yeah, I think you've put all the pieces together, like you said, and you've got this knowledge now. You've written these books. You've got this experience. You've fine tuned your skills in front of a stage and on in front of an audience. And when it all comes together, that's where the miracles and the magic happen. It's beautiful. I remember you saying on stage in Brisbane, and you're actually getting very sick. I remember you were getting sick
You know
throughout it.
that I had COVID and I didn't know.
I could see you
Right?
from the beginning of the night getting
I
more
thank God.
unwell.
Remember, I didn't do a book signing and I
I
didn't sign
do.
any books.
Yeah.
I knew I shouldn't do it. I knew that I shouldn't do it. And I just had everybody take a picture from the stage. I would have spread COVID across that entire room if I hadn't done that.
Yeah,
I
not
didn't,
fun.
I didn't know. And was 3 or 4 days later that I lost my sense of taste and smell.
Yeah, I'm sort of going through that at the moment, tail end of it right now. So not fun, but yes, so glad you didn't spread it around anywhere. But I remember that
I had a good social distance of about 50
you
feet from
did,
everybody.
you did. You had a few people on stage. I think they were okay. I know one of
Oh,
them.
I hope they were okay.
And she
God,
was
I hope they
fine.
were
She was
okay.
fine. Lisa was absolutely fine. But you did say something that really stuck with me, actually. It was a things you can't unhear moment. And you said to us all, this is what I want more of. I want more of this. So I am using this experience on stage with you now to help me manifest more of this, to help me bring
Yeah,
more of this into the world.
yeah, yeah.
I loved that. I loved that so much because it just makes sense. Sometimes you can't just sit there and wait for things to happen. You need to be an active player in showing the universe what you're capable of, and then they will give you more. More will come.
That's exactly right. Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah.
And look, here you go. Another live tour going around Australia. I love it. Well done. What do you love about Australia so much? Why do you keep coming here?
I feel like it's my second home. I actually said that to someone from Australia yesterday. And I think that mainly because my sister, my best friend, who's like my soul sister, she's like my sister, truly. She lives in Sydney. Her name is Michaela Ezra, beautiful teacher to follow as well. She's a teacher of Judaism, and she's just like the most extraordinary spiritual teacher. And so Michaela is there, her family's there. They're like family to me. I've been coming to Australia for 7 or 8 years now. I've been coming back and back and back. And also, I think, when you come to another country, but it's still an English speaking country, it's easy to do the communication, right? So like I'm learning Spanish, but I don't speak any other languages. So to just come and just show up, even though it's across the world, it's easy for me to communicate the message. So there's that element. And it's also just an incredible country. I mean, you live in what feels like one of the more safe places to be in the world right now, and I'm happy for
Mm.
you.
Hopefully that continues throughout. Yeah, it does feel like we're very away from all of the drama that goes on, which is lovely. Now, as you can see, the title of the podcast, Gabby, is Things You Can't Unhear. And it's all about creating those moments for people that stop them in their tracks and create a moment of change in their minds. So they go out and do something differently. We've all had those moments. We've all had people tell us something that you can't unhear. So I want to know what one sticks out for you right now. What was one thing you heard, you read, you experienced that you couldn't unhear and that forced you to create some positive change in your life?
Yeah, I think that it would be the day I chose to get sober, and I actually heard an inner dialogue. It was a spiritual voice inside of me that said, get clean and make impact on the world. When you get clean, you will make a major impact on the world. And you'll live a life beyond your wildest dreams. That's what I heard. I will never get that out of my head. I'll never unhear that.
Did you feel like your drinking and extracurricular activities were in an addictive state, or were you just recreational?
Oh, no, no, no. I was a drug addict. I got sober at 25. It's been 20 years now of sobriety. So I was addicted to cocaine and alcohol. And the day that I chose to get clean and sober was the day that changed my life and the trajectory of my life because of that message internally that I could never unhear.
What a perfect way to end. Gabby, thank you so much for your time here today. It's been an absolute thrill to be able to have a chat to you. And as we navigate
Thanks.
our perimenopause roller coaster today, we'll just hopefully send each other some tips. But
Well, I will tell you this, I've never felt better because I've taken matters into my hands. I've gotten the right doctors and I'm on hormones and I'm eating well and exercising and I've been in better shape than I've ever been. And so within a 6 to 8 month period, I was able to redirect the course of my life. And so look, not everybody's going to have the ability to get on the hormonal support, but most can. And I'm an advocate for doing whatever it takes to get yourself back to safety
absolutely self-help in every way possible.
in every form.
Yeah,
That's right, sweetie.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well, I
so
can't
much.
wait to see you in Brisbane.
In Brisbane,
And
I will definitely see you there. Yeah, I'm excited.
everybody listening comes to my talks. It's deargabby.com/events to get your details there.
We
Or
will
just Google.
absolutely put links to the positive affirmation meditation in the show notes, and also links to the self help book, and of course, the tour that is going around Australia as well. You're a legend. Thanks for listening to the show. What did you think? And what did you feel? Let us know by leaving me a message on the Things You Can't Unhear Instagram community page. And if you can, give us some ratings love on your favourite listening platform. This is a Guide Your Light network production, creating podcasts with purpose.